Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another live stream here today with Killer Whales Academy. My name is Nosh, and this is powered by Hello. I've got the Hello merch on. If you guys like this, let me know. We can maybe we'll do some more drops with Hello. Yeah, it is midweek right now. It is Wednesday, and I am having a very strong cup of coffee right now. It's raining outside. Markets are looking interesting. We've got the FOMC meeting happening today, and Iran-Israel war going on right now. Crazy situations all over the world, guys. We are living in insane times, both good and bad, right? But we're here to talk about altcoins. We're here to talk about TA, and also just look at the overall market in general and cover things. So I'm excited, guys. Let's get right into the video, into the live stream. Real quick, I'm gonna go to, let's start with the sort of FOMC situation right now, because that is important. I want to make sure I'm good on the live side of things, because sometimes the internet is kind of buggy, but I think I should be all right. Um, we're gonna see real quick. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it on my phone real quick. What we got live. Yep. Okay. Cool. I see myself. So we're good. We are good to go, guys. Alrighty. So, as I was saying, guys, you can see my screen. I'm on CoinMarketCap right now. Today we have the FOMC meeting. It's a big deal, right? The decision's about to drop today at 2 p.m. EST time. So the odds of a rate cut are extremely low. This is just because of many situations right now, the rising energy costs because of Iran, Israel, the inflation tariff risks that are still looming around, and all these other macro factors are, definitely going to be interesting to see how the Fed tackles this today in their news, right? They could either be dovish, they could be bullish and kind of give us a nice outlook for the rest of the year, where they'll kind of give us some horizon for when rate cuts could come, or it's going to be the other way around, where we're going to get a little bit more hawkish, a little bit more, kind of not exactly what we're looking for, but that could happen too. So I'm leaning more bearish personally. I do think that right now the markets are in a precarious state. I think that rate cuts won't come to until at least September onwards, and maybe J Powell doesn't really soften up at this point yet, right? But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the FOMC. If we look at also just general other news right now, we've got a bunch of things happening in the market. Okay, one thing I wanted to talk about before I get into the altcoin analysis is the things that are happening around USDC, around the stablecoin sort of situation, right? The Senate has officially just passed the Genius Act on crypto stablecoin bills. Now, everyone is like, dude, what does this do? Like, stablecoins are $1. Is my $1 stablecoin gonna go to like $10? No, that's not what this means. That's not what this is. If I make that call as an altcoin trader, I'm definitely gonna lose my job. But that's not what we're talking about here. The Stablecoin Act is much more than that, right? And I can kind of give you guys a little bit gist of it, right? This is called the Genius Stablecoin Act. I don't know why they called it that, but they did, right? This basically establishes federal guardrails for the US dollar pegged stablecoins and creates a regulated pathway for private companies to issue digital dollars with the blessing of the federal government, guys. This is huge because, first of all, it strengthens the dollar, it brings money into the US, and it also increases their treasury reserves, right? This is centrally backed. Massive thing for the United States of America, but furthermore, it has a lot of implications for crypto, for the future of like decentralization, because this is kind of leaning towards digital dollar, but also does in a lot of ways move forward in the sense of adoption for crypto in general. Um, I actually have a theory, and this kind of is a wild theory because it's not something I'm very happy to say, but I do think that alt season and altcoins are not going to look the same for the foreseeable future for various different reasons. And one of those reasons is a very, very specific catalyst that took place right now is the Genius Act for one, but also the launch of this particular asset here, this stock, right? Circle Internet Group. These guys are the issuer of USDC, guys. And you can see they had, they just IPO'd very recently. They've had a rip from around $30 or so all the way up to $158. I am incredibly bullish on Circle because of their backing with the U.S. With the U.S. Treasury, pegging the dollar um, to USDC and having this sort of adoption take place. Because guys, like think about it this way, right? Which companies want to hold altcoins in their treasury, right? Which companies want to see their treasury fluctuate 40, 50% up and down when it comes to crypto, right? How do you get the same sort of speedy transactions, the access to sort of new technologies, and even some access of decentralization, right? I'm not saying that USDC and stablecoins solve all of this, but it does kind of put a new player on the chessboard, so to speak, for how the future of crypto is evolving, right? Even when it comes to trading meme coins, even when it comes to trading NFTs, why can't they be bought and sold via USDC, right? They could be the same value as like $1 is $1, but you buy like for example, you buy Nike sneakers, right? You buy sneakers to flip them, or you buy Rolexes or watches to flip them or hold them, and they gain value. And what do you sell them in? You sell them in a dollar, the dollar amount, right? Or you can sell them in Bitcoin, whatever. But the key is that for trading, for economies, and for sort of seamless transactions, and for a functioning, thriving economy to take place, this does kind of solve a lot of the major issues that we see. And again, it also strengthens the U.S. a lot, right? You guys got to understand that, they're saying the U.S. stablecoin market could grow eightfold to 2 trillion. I think that's peanuts. I think it's going to be a lot more than that. I don't think that people are really understanding the scale of what stablecoins and a dollar-backed stablecoin can do in the scheme of things, guys. Because as crypto grows too, the altcoin competition is fierce, right? L1s, L2s, there's hundreds of them. But there's only one Bitcoin, right? There's only one Bitcoin, guys. I'm incredibly bullish on Bitcoin. I think a lot of people are seeing the shift now. Everything is very PvP in crypto. You look at all the top, sort of 20 coins, the altcoins, the top 50 altcoins, you guys see it's PvP. The liquidity between the market caps keeps shifting because now we're living in a very momentous cycle. You have to be able to momentum trade. You have to be able to trade levels. You have to be able to be quick. You can't really be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take the 10x on Avalanche or Sui or this and swing trade it because altcoin season is around the corner because that's what happened every 4 years. No, that's changed, guys. That whole dynamic has changed because we are living in a PvP market where a lot of new people are entering the space. Young kids are entering the space. TikTok has entered the space. People are trading meme coins like crazy, right? There's hundreds of millions of dollars going to meme coins, billions of dollars going to meme coins. That changes the game for how we used to perceive alt-season and altcoins in general, right? It's not the same cycle where we look at, ETH pumps and then altcoins run. It doesn't necessarily have to work like that anymore. That's what I'm trying to say here. So take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt because obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but that's just my theory. I'm incredibly bullish on Circle. I'm going to talk about this maybe on the next video. I'll analyze this more in depth and I'll actually have a serious discussion around what I think is going to happen step by step and where Circle goes. But for now, we can jump into altcoin analysis and kind of some trade setups for you guys so you can look out for the next, this second half of this week as well as moving forward, right? As I've already mentioned, the FOMC meeting's happening today, so you guys have to watch out for that because, it's important, right? I also had what did I have this open for? I have DeFi Llama open. Oh, I think I was checking out TVL. Yeah, I was looking at TVL. Anyways, we don't have to talk about this. I'm parched. I am super parched. Just want to make sure my thing is still running good. Okay, cool. Live stream is running good. So we can get right into it, guys. If we were to look at the market right now, which we are going to do, right? Bitcoin is back in sort of this consolidation zone, right? We're seeing a lot of resistance around 110,161. Okay, this is like very obvious. We've had pretty much, we've had many rejections here up until this point. In the past as well, obviously 1, 2, right, 3, 4, 5, and these rejections do cause short-term price fluctuation, but also they're important to note that, okay, if we're not going to be able to break through, we're going to see some sort of weakness and structural breakdown. this right here, this is quite interesting to me. Like when I'm looking at the chart right now, what I'm understanding is that we are facing a lot of resistance here. Um, Bitcoin could be pretty much sideways until, well, today we're going to get the FOMC meeting. If it's hawkish, my theory is that Bitcoin's going to obviously tank a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of a beating, and so is everything else in the market. If it's the opposite, right, where Jay Powell is kind of dovish, he's talking about, he's throwing flowers at you guys and saying, hey, like we got rate cuts coming up, guys. We've got, things are looking up in the future. He's got a big smile on his face. Like things are different. But I personally, I don't know. I think he's going to lean kind of hawkish or neutral, which might just kind of, have Bitcoin probably retrace to 103,439. Okay, that's this line right here. Just showing you the percentage drop from this level, from this conversation. That's like about a 1.34% retracement. Okay, you have to watch that level. It's very important. Okay, it's very important that you watch this level, because if this level breaks, we go straight down to this level, which is 102,461, right? And then the subsequent levels if that breaks as well. That's just how you're going to look at the trade setups, guys. Okay. Ideally, this helps you track your entry and your exits, right? If you were someone who's taking a short, you want to enter somewhere around the top upper band of this trade. I'm not saying enter a short, but I'm just giving you an example of how you can look at the trade setups, right? Same thing here. If it tracks all the way, if the price goes down here and you're wondering, oh, should I long, should I short? Well, you need confirmation, first of all, right? You need confirmation. It's not exactly the best space to be because you're kind of in no man's land, considering the fact that this also has been a strong support zone, right? You've had bounces come out of here, right? You've had a bounce here, got a bounce here. So you could track that as well for a long. So it really depends on what the news and the catalyst set up for us. But all I can say to you guys is look at these levels. 103,349. That's next up on the short side, then 102,430, right? And after that, you guys can basically see that we have some sort of a relief rally potentially around those levels, I think, maybe back to 105 and then beyond from there. Ultimately, guys, Bitcoin is still trading in a range. Like, it's not in a bad state. It looks kind of messy, but it ain't that bad, guys. Like, Bitcoin's looking all right. It's looking okay for now. We just need to track the sort of retracements and see how strong they are, and whether they merit more downward pressure or not. But right now, I don't see the need, or I don't see Bitcoin like just crashing and breaking structure. Like, these are key zones here. I've drawn them out in the past as well, so you guys can watch this, right? A, B, and C, 103, 102, 101. Super important. If we break these levels, if we break 101,319, and then subsequently 100,000, yeah, that's going to be bearish. We're probably going to wick down anywhere from 96K to 94K. That's very, very possible if that happens. If not, I mean, you can just track for potentially a bounce off of the 103, which I think is going to happen today. And then yeah, you have all this room to play with on a long side once sort of the markets turn into more favorable conditions, right? How is this faring for altcoins? Well, if we look at altcoins like SUI or AVAX, etc., right now, like SUI is actually kind of giving us a big juicy retracement, 2.7. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and assume that this has just been leverage just getting wiped out. Like, I don't know how much leverage. Ooh, I can't spell crypto. I can't spell today. Okay, where is the interesting news? A whale opened $200 million Bitcoin long, 20% or 20x leverage. Crypto Twitter. He definitely knows something. Reality could just be the world's most expensive coin flip. The psychology of assuming big money equals insider info never gets old. Ha. That is true. That is true. Yeah, guys, you have to look out for leverage, right? And people are basically just going to be wiping out these types of players along the way, because that's just like what happens in crypto, right? It's not a regulated sort of space in that sense where we can really punish the people that do this. It just happens. There's a lot of short side pressure right now in Bitcoin. Okay, there's a ton of short side pressure on Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Interesting to note that. I do think that, yeah, so like I said, this also gives us the inclination that people are leaning more bearish, right? If we look at something like SUI, I'm assuming now there's going to be more people trying to long, but nah, okay. Well, you did see this long leverage get wiped out. There you go. There it is. 18th June, 1350. That might be my time. 9 billion in liquidation leverage wiped out, guys. Bada bing, bada boom. You get your candy. You know, that's like taking candy from a baby, guys. You're letting the cabal wreck you. If you're playing with this much leverage and you're entering SUI and all these positions, this was 2.8, right? This is 2.8, okay, SUI. I'm assuming people entered maybe around here, 2.9, maybe a little bit earlier, around $3 something. If you go to the week, it's just hunting, guys. You're just getting hunted. Liquidation leverage, right? Does this mean that SUI can send from here? Maybe, but this was a lesson. People thought that the bottom was in for SUI. People thought that they're good, and then you get wrecked. That's the case when it comes to crypto, right? Where can SUI go from here? Look, I'm not going to rule out a wick down to 2.1 if I'm being crazy and just being honest also with you guys. It's better to play on the side of caution in this market because it is a hard market to trade, okay? It's not easy. There's volatility every single day, guys. And when there's volatility, there's huge swings on both sides. So I would set up orders for 2.11. I'm not saying that's happening now. I'm not saying that's happening at this moment. It's going to happen like tomorrow. But I do think it is really close, guys. We are not far. It's 2.7 something, right? If you look at the retracement there, like it won't be like a small amount. That's, what was that, 20%, right? About 21% retracement from current prices. But guys, just look at crypto. Like, just look at this. Okay, this is already a 30% retracement. This is what happens in crypto. You can't help this, right? These swings are very, very normal in altcoins. So it's not like, oh, 20% from here, impossible. I'm going to enter a long position because I'm a genius and this thing's going to go to the moon. No, guys, it doesn't work like that, okay? Right now, SUI's also just in sort of, it's tracking a bearish momentum right now, okay? This is the one-day chart. You guys can see this, right? We're making sort of lower lows over here. This doesn't stop, right? If this doesn't stop, this goes to 2.1. So you got to track for this. Let me draw some lines. So this is kind of a key zone. We're breaking it right now. I would say that maybe 2.5 is probably the next zone. And then from there, yeah, we're going to have, more structural breakdown. We're going to get down to 2.1. We could even wick, say, 1.9. It's possible. Okay, don't rule it out. Don't rule it out just because I said it wasn't. But what you're going to see, you're not going to see like some big plummet down to the ground. You're going to see a lot of like sort of these bounces, right? These fake outs, right? You might get a little bit of a right? You might get a little bit of that. So if you're taking a short, just be ready for the fake outs because that's what happens, okay? If you don't believe me, you can see that like literally that's how you basically see a downtrend, right? This is a classic sort of downtrend pattern, right? Fake out, boom, fake out, boom, fake out, boom. It just keeps going. And then you have a reversal, you have a confirmation on a reversal. It's the opposite, right? You see higher highs, higher lows. It's like it looks like this. Right, where you finally kind of break out of that key zone or the previous resistances and you see strong buyers show up. This is what the breakout looks like. So you have to watch for this. When you have, so look, this is an example of like where we are right now. When you have a confirmation, right? The confirmation usually comes from breaking out of these key resistance zones. The confirmation happens here, right? Through these big candlesticks. That confirmation comes because you can see that we were able to break the previous rejection on the recent downturn. Okay, that kind of gives you some confirmation. So that would have been like maybe here, This was a rejection, but over here it broke out, right? So you kind of get that confirmation. You can wait, you get another confirmation, take your long, right? Other than that, you guys don't have to take the trade. You don't have to take the trade. Don't force yourself to trade because there's no point. You're gonna get wrecked. It's unpredictable, guys. It's not easy to predict these things. I could totally see a bounce right now also, like maybe a little bit of relief rally, especially if the news is bullish. Maybe from here to like 2.9 to $3, and then again we might have a downturn, right? So even if you're taking that trade, there's a lot of money to be made on those, but you got to be careful trading that, right? $3 is like an 8%, 7.6, 8% sort of trade right there on a long. To the next short level, that's a 10% trade right down here. Keep your stop losses tight. Keep them at 2%. You know, nothing more than that. 2.5%, maybe less. Depends on your risk tolerance. But yeah, guys, right now this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a downtrend on SWI, on altcoins. I would watch this very closely. Next level for SWI is going to be 2.5, and then subsequently I'm going to see 2.1, ideally, because that is a great place to get SWI if you are looking to position yourself, right? Set up buy orders, guys. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you're sleeping, something happens overnight, boom, you just get a crazy sort of wick down. It doesn't hurt you if you have a little bit of stables and stuff. You know, you could do that if that's your thing, if that's your risk tolerance. That is sweet for me, guys, today. I think that, you know, this is a pretty fairly, I don't want to say obvious trade, but right now we're just in a downtrend. We're gonna have to break out of it. Until we don't, right? Look at the weekly chart. Does not look good. It's a very natural movement for us to go to the $2.2 zone and probably have a sort of, you know, correction from there. I could see that happening in all scenarios. It's also possible we just continue to send from here if news is bullish, if things turn around. You got to be prepared for that. If you want the upside trade, guys, I would draw some lines for you around these levels. Okay, if we go to the daily again. This is where we are, so 3.28 is probably next resistance. I want to say, yeah, 3.28, and then 3.7, and then around $4.2. Yes, 4.2. So you guys can track the long trade too. Once you have a confirmation of breakout, I would say you're having a confirmation of a reversal. If we get past around $3.5. Once we have a breakout above $3.5, I think we're potentially kind of coming back. You know, so that's possible. Anyways, guys, that's it from my side today. We're gonna keep this one quite short. But thank you all for coming today. I just wanted to say, you know, we are in a very interesting market. Look out for today's news, 2 p.m. EST, guys. We've got the Federal Reserve talking, FOMC meeting, going to be deciding on rate cuts. 99% sure it's going to be stagnant. It's going to be the same, right? So you guys can prepare for that. And if J Powell is hawkish, watch the short trades, right? Watch the short trade on SWI. Watch the wick downs on all the altcoins. Watch Bitcoin, like we mentioned, too. And just be ready for anything. Vice versa, if things are bullish, you're going to see maybe some sort of a relief rally. You're going to see some sort of a little bit of a up, you know, a little mini reversal on the short-term momentum that's going on right now. But that's it from my side, guys. This is Killer Whales Academy. It is your boy OX Nosh signing off.